Hey guys, it's the Gnome Pilled Goblin here. I'm here to give you an update on the whole Justin Roiland situation. Apparently, it was a case involving battery and false imprisonment, coming from one of his ex-girlfriends that he dated. He was fired from his video game studio, he was fired from Rick and Morty. The craziest part, though, is all of the charges towards him were dismissed. So apparently an attorney said, "We dismissed the charges today because there was insufficient evidence to prove that the case beyond reasonable doubt." Kimberly Edds, a spokesperson for the district attorney's office, said in a statement. Edds said that significant additional information came to light. Roiland confirmed on social media that the case had been dismissed. "I have always known that these claims were false," Roiland wrote in a statement on Twitter. In a statement to NBC News, an attorney for Roiland said the district attorney's office was conducted a thorough review of the facts. So he was fired from all of these different places, and they didn't even have the facts straight yet. They were just trying to cover themselves before they even knew what was actually going on. That information wasn't made public, so I guess all we can do is speculate. Maybe Justin Roiland came out with some heat and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna dismiss this, throw this case out. You came out with another fire season of Rick and Morty. That's what the fans need, and we rely on the fans a little bit more than we rely on evidence. There's no real telling. Nothing about the case has really been made public. Not even really like the full details of the incident. We're just kind of given like a vague like idea of what's going on, and it sounds pretty dark, but yet again, we still don't know what's going on. So obviously, if you go to Twitter, people are going to be coming up with all sorts of conspiracy theories and reasons why they think what's going on, but in reality, I don't know really all about that, since there's really no telling, and I don't really trust random strangers on the internet. But it is a little weird how it did get thrown out when it came that close to the media cycle. I'm assuming that there was like at least some sort of evidence to back up the claims, otherwise why else would they investigate him in the first place, is my question, is I guess what I'd say. Because you'd think if there was no evidence, this would just get slapped down like immediately. But I'm back and forth with it because I do understand why people got the heebie-jeebies about it, because it is weird, but I assume they fired him because they had like secret insider information that the public just didn't know because they worked with him. But so they either acted to make sure that they looked good and they wiped their hands clean of it before anything did go down, so they had sort of like a contingency plan. Or they fired him because of past allegations from past employees and workers that had worked with him, and that was just kind of the final straw that broke the camel's back. Because a lot of his coworkers have came out very strongly against him, so it's like 1 plus 1 equals 2. Saying that he was extremely lazy and he hasn't had an active role in Rick and Morty franchise in a long time. Refusing to work, difficult to work with. They wouldn't even know that he shows up until they'd hear his dogs or his little remote control cars that he'd drive around. So he was basically just one big man baby. And then of course we all know about the DMs that started leaking where, I guess it wasn't confirmed, but still, he'd flirt like he was Morty from the actual fucking show. Like, what the hell? Saying things like insane in the membrane and ooga. And that at least one of these people was underage. Like, but again, it hasn't been confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. But this was just like the giant shitstorm that Justin Roiland was facing. And since he's like been dismissed, he's made a statement, but he hasn't said anything outside of he knew this wasn't gonna stick. Roiland said, "I have always known that these claims were false, and I never had any doubt that this day would come. I'm thankful that this case has been dismissed, but at the same time, I'm still deeply shaken by the horrible lies that were reported about me during this process. Most of all, I'm disappointed that so many people were so quick to judge without knowing the facts, based solely on the word of an embittered ex trying to bypass due process and have me canceled. that it may have succeeded even partially is shameful. However, now that the legal case has ended, I'm determined to move forward and focus both on my creative projects and restoring my good name. I think it's kind of weird that he says that he was canceled, but all of these charges were private, and like the public doesn't even really truly know what was going on in the first place. But if it was cancellation, the ex would have came forward and gave a lot more details to the public on what was actually going on, instead of trying to handle it behind closed doors legally. Because if cancellation was the goal, then they would have been doing it publicly, making sure that this information came to light, but that wasn't the case. Obviously, people aren't really happy about Justin Roiland's response. I mean, it's obvious why. It doesn't take a big-brained Galaxy guy to know that even though he was able to prove himself to the legal system, it doesn't mean that he still doesn't have these allegations out there, and there's no, people wouldn't come out with these allegations if there wasn't a reason for it. So yeah, you're dismissed legally, but you're still a little suspicious in the public's eye. So until the public, I feel like, knows what even happened in the first place, I don't think there'll ever be that sort of level of trust for Justin Roiland ever again. I mean, because why would there be? I mean, all people know is that there's some scary ass charges pending on Justin Roiland, or there were. So, I mean, what else are you supposed to expect? I mean, are we just supposed to assume that because the legal system said so that, oh, you must be the best person ever out there? I don't think so, bud. My theory is there was probably a victim that they just didn't have enough evidence to provide to get this monster behind bars. And I mean, if the allegations are false, that's a crime in and of itself, but I'd like to believe the victim, the one with the less power. If his ex was really trying to ruin his life, yeah, that needs to be addressed, but first of all, why do all these other people have these allegations towards you? It's like, if all of these people think there's a problem with you, at what point is the problem not with them, but lying with yourself? Anyways, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. See ya.